In today's show, we discuss, is this how dating apps are actually destroying society?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you're keeping safe and well.
What the hell, Tony? What you gonna do, eh?
Come on, you know what I'm going to ask you. Just get it
I
over and
do.
done with.
Yeah. Hello, audience. Let me share with you the wise
Yeah!
words.
Oh, no, not again. You know what? I'm convinced you've made this guy up. I did research on him. I cannot find this guy anywhere. I'm sure you're just pulling my leg and our listeners and viewers' legs as well with the quotes of this fool. And he's a fool.
Excuse me. If it
Come
was coming
on.
from me, then I think, I mean, like, that's deeply hurtful because surely I'd come up with stuff that, look, to me, these are pearls of wisdom. I told you before, he's from Ikorodu land. Although he's a Ugandan, he was brought up in Ikorodu land, which, of course, is an area between Ibadan and Lagos in Nigeria. He wrote his book in a sub-dialect of Yoruba, which is very hard. I'm having difficulty translating it, and that's why I've got two copies of his book. 1948 or something. He published this.
What's the title of the book? Can I at least search for it?
The Legless Warrior Never Sleeps at Night. So not from 1948. The Legless Warrior Never Sleeps at Night, 1951. The Legless Warrior. Why are you laughing? What's funny about that? 1951.
The title is gripping. I mean,
Yeah.
sleeps at night. Oh,
I don't know why you're making me laugh. I don't know why the Legless Warrior never sleeps at night.
Okay.
Okay.
What pearls of wisdom will you enlighten us with?
Yes, Dr. Isaiah Henry Mavatamba.
I can't find him. You need to send me his name. So I searched and searched, could find nothing.
Okay.
Hence why I'm a bit dubious as to who
That's
this
no
guy
problem.
is. Go on.
When the newborn child cries, you
This is not good.
I'm trying to be serious. Look, anyway, I'm going to say no. Look, it's you, man. I'm going to cover your face so I can't see it. Okay, there we go. When the newborn child cries, people rejoice. When the old die, people weep. But do the dead rejoice? Do the dead rejoice? Wow.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay, look. The first part of that, the first part of it was stating the obvious.
What part is this?
Well, the first part, when babies cry, people rejoice.
No, when the newborn. Remember when you smack the newborn?
Yeah.
People rejoice. When people die, people weep.
Well, of course they do. Of course they do. That's pretty standard. But the last one.
Look at the juxtaposition of the two states. Look, it's intrinsic to the nature of querying. Yeah, I just don't think you just don't get the guy. That's the problem.
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay. So but like last time, remember what happened during our show last time? I used it. To your shock and amazement, you just don't get it. I'm going to use it for you.
Okay.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead with the show.
Yes. Okay. Let's move on with our show. Our listeners are probably thinking this shenanigans cannot continue. Anyway, today's topic we're going to discuss is this how dating apps are actually destroying society? Right, Teo, I'm not 100% convinced that they're actually destroying society, but this was one of your topics. So do you want to kick things up as to why you think that is the case?
Okay. I've mentioned before several times, and I think increasingly getting on your soft bits, I've mentioned a Sex and Culture, a book written by J.D. Unwin and published in 1934. Okay. I think I sent you a copy.
No, not
Oh, I
that.
must.
This doesn't ring a bell at
Oh,
all.
I'll send you a PDF of it. It's in
Okay.
PDF form now. 934. I don't think anybody still says it's under copyright. And if it is under copyright, no, I did not. I do not have a PDF, and no, I'm not going to send it to Tony.
Okay.
All right. So, Sex and Culture, J.D. Unwin, 1934, posits that women routinely and so far successfully, I got tears in my eyes from the laughter, and so far successfully destroy civilizations. He's the chap. You've just let it go in one ear, come out the other, Tony. I've been talking about this guy endlessly.
What? Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does he come up with facts and evidence
to
back up?
Yeah, he goes all the way back to Mesopotamia or something, and he shows how women become. First of all, they are strictly regulated. The sex on offer to the opposite sex is strictly regulated, and then it becomes deregulated, and then society becomes decadent, and sex is freely available and all that sort of thing. And the innards of society, the break basically. It's got. Like I said, I'll send you. Maybe we should just do a book on it. A show on it after you've read it, and then we can have a chat.
Yeah.
However, I used to think that J.D. Unwin was entirely correct.
Okay.
And I've always said that women are the downfall. Remember, I've said women are the downfall of civilization.
I disagreed, 100%.
But I've changed my mind.
Oh, you've come over to my side, the light.
Not quite. No. The light. Actually, the fall of civilizations is primarily due to weak men. See, I've moved on from J.D. Unwin. He just blames the women. I go, no. It's not. Yes, the women are part of the blame, but underlying the foundations of their freedoms is weak men. Because these weak men grant women unearned freedoms and privileges. And
you're now we're digressing from the topic.
No, we're not.
But you're
now a train of thought.
Okay.
It's a train of thought.
You're saying therefore that women are a substandard species almost.
No. Look, the nature of the cobra is to bite. The nature of the bat is to fly. You don't talk about substandard because cobras don't fly and bats don't have venom. It's nothing substandard. It's just the nature. The nature of the woman is to destroy civilization. She wants privileges and power without accountability. This is the problem.
That is a very far-reaching statement.
Well,
because I don't believe most women are thinking that wide.
No,
and that big.
All most women think about is that it's not their fault. They want stuff and they want power, but when push comes to shove, it's never their fault. It's, oh, somebody did this. Oh, someone did that. Oh, you men didn't. Oh, it's always something else. They don't take accountability. So they can do anything. They can go to war. They can start wars because they'll never go to the battlefront to go and fight.
That's actually not true.
No, it's actually
most
true.
Wars are started by men.
Yes, but we go to fight, so we can. That's the difference. Right. We can start wars because we've got skin in the game.
No, if we had more leaders who were women, there'll be less wars. There'll be just a lot of countries not talking to each other.
No, I can send you a link. Because actually, historically, queens start more wars than men. And I happen to know that's true, so I'm going to send you a link.
That was a joke and you didn't even hear it.
No, because when it comes to men and women thing, and you interrupted my flow of thought, by the way. I don't joke with men and women palaver. It's too serious.
It's not too serious. You do sometimes get too irate about
passionate.
it.
I get passionate.
Is one thing.
It's too serious. It's our society is failing. It's our society
not failing, and it doesn't.
It is almost. It's almost. You're the only one who doesn't say. You're going to be the last. You know what you are. You're somebody who was stuck in the loo when the Titanic was going down, and they thought, "What's all this noise I'm hearing outside? Everything is fine. It's an unsinkable ship." And then the water starts coming in. It's like, "Oh, dude, we should have got out earlier." I said, "Sex and culture."
My toilet habits. That's probably true.
Oh my god! All right, settle down. Good grief. Sex and culture.
Okay.
Said women routinely and successfully destroy civilizations. I said I used to think that was entirely true. I've changed my mind. I think it is weak men.
To blame.
ultimately, the fault ultimately lies with them because strong men wouldn't give women unearned freedoms and privileges. However, I think even that position is untrue because this modern era has afforded us a new ability, which is a novel way of meeting and courting women. And of course, I mean modern dating apps. I think modern dating apps have accelerated the process by which women destroy civilization through weak men. So it's like an enzyme in a chemical reaction. It catalyzes things and makes things a lot quicker. It is due to the dating apps that we have seen a very sudden and very accelerated destruction of modern society, and I hope to prove it to you
Through
today.
the dating apps. That's quite a leap. You're
Yeah,
sounding like this sounds like almost a conspiracy show
funnily
where
enough, it's
you're
not.
making a claim
Hmm.
based on a loose observation and then linking the fall of civilization on a dating app. Isn't that rather a big leap?
Well, no, and I'll tell you why.
Society isn't the decision makers in society
Hmm.
tend not to be the ones looking for a partner. The ones looking for partners or having a bit of sexual fun on average tend to be the younger order, and then you've got a mature group who have been married, maybe split up after long relationships, and they are looking for relationships too, but they don't have the same issues as the younger demographic, and we'll touch on that as to why that is. But go on,
Hmm.
continue.
It turns out that you're wrong. The fall of society in this instance is due to the number of the number and type of men that are falling out and not participating any longer.
Falling out, what do you mean? Explain for our
They are
viewers
okay. A lot of
and
young
listeners.
men, a lot of young men, and just men in general, but primarily the young men, the one in their 20s, the men who in other societies are the go-getters, the ones who have to get out there, they have to hustle, they have to struggle because they want to build their value, because they want to attract good women. That's how strong societies are built. This is why British men who couldn't get a leg over because the squires and the whatever they were calling those, the lords of the manor, they were getting it on with everybody, all the hot chicks in the village, man, you know. So the men were naff this for a lark, climbed onto ships, went out and conquered the world just to bring back some gold. Say, here's the gold. Now give me some of that. I've never seen the Chinese men leaving in droves. They're all over the world, globally now. They're going out there. They're going out there because they got it. There's what is it the other way around? A minority. There's 30 million, I think, 30 million men in China who won't be matched the woman because of the population disparity. Remember during their one child
Yeah,
era,
it was, yes.
they were actually insanely they were still, they were getting rid of females. So now females have got the pick of the litter. They can make demands as they please.
Although, in the scale of things, you're talking 30 million discrepancy out of a population of 1.2 billion.
Mm.
30 million is actually quite a small
Well, what
disparity.
how many out of that 1.2 billion, 1 point, I think it was 1.3, 1.4.
Yes, indeed, it could be even higher, sure.
Out of those, how many are old? How many are prepubescent? How many are already hooked up?
Yeah,
And they've got the
you're still
so
talking
if you're one of
several
the
hundred million.
if you're one of the 30 million and you can't get your leg over,
No, I
it's
don't think
problematic.
that's true. I don't believe that that 30 million hasn't had its leg over. I think that's a quite a strange suggestion, implication that that is the case. Because if you are wanting and needing sex, you can still pay for it, and you can still find sex most places if you look hard enough. So that doesn't mean you
I don't
can't
know what
finding
communist
a
I don't know
partner.
what communist China is like when it comes to that sort of thing. And
It's the oldest
furthermore,
profession, so it would certainly still be
yeah, but
available.
if you were to hove down into Medina in Saudi Arabia, which is the holy city, it's not going to be, they got a red light on the door somewhere. It's going to be so hidden you can't flip and find it. And
Indeed,
a
indeed.
lot of these Chinese areas, they're quite rural, and I'm not sure they're going to be ladies of the night in such societies because they're rural societies. Anyway, according to those who know and who live in China, and I don't, the people who say they live in China say they're 30 million, and a lot of men are leaving. They're leaving and they're going to Vietnam and other places where they can actually get the leg over and stuff like that. That is what other empires have done before. When
What's
the
this got
empire
to
is
do with
strong,
dating apps?
when the empire was strong, when empires are strong, the men are masculine, very goal oriented, willing to go to war, have to sometimes go to war, like the Vikings crossing seas to pillage and everything, get rich. When the men become soft, because nookie sex is freely available, the men become soft. They don't have to try to become something. Sex is available. You don't have to be rich to get sex. You don't have to be, and I'll explain this later. You don't have to stand out as an alpha male because you can get sex.
And so by getting sex regularly,
Easily.
you're
Not regularly,
okay,
easily.
easily
Yeah.
means that a man is less potent, so to
Is
speak.
less prone,
Okay.
is less prone to be rambunctious, to be aggressive, is less prone to want to go overseas to conquer others, is less prone to pick up a gun and to start arguing. He's just comfortable,
So what you're saying, therefore, let
Mhm.
me just piece together what we've just discussed.
Yes.
You're saying that in China, because they had the one child policy for a number of years, we've got this 30 million disparity.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying, therefore, that the Chinese will be the ones that will be out conquering because they can't get Nookie back home.
Okay. Not
That,
will be, wrong tense.
okay, will
They
be.
are the
They
ones.
are. They are
They are
doing
the
that,
ones.
are they?
They are doing it now. I understand that there are Chinese language schools in Nigeria, for God's sakes.
Okay.
Nigeria. There are Chinese language schools in Nigeria, just as there used to be English language schools all over the world. Now it's Chinese language schools. Why is it Chinese language schools? What's the story? There are Chinese people living in villages in Nigeria and marrying Nigerian women in villages, for goodness sakes.
Okay.
We're going to do a big thing on China, a big thing. These are things I'm going to discuss, and I'm going to
This
bring
isn't
facts and evidence.
normally the philosophy of an invader. If they're actually
They haven't started. Everybody came peacefully in the beginning. Everybody who comes,
so what, they're
initially,
trying to adopt what the Germans did during the Second World War, where they would infiltrate some of their young men into countries to increase the German state, so to speak, in foreign lands. Is that what they're
it's
trying to
not an
do?
infiltration. It's not an infiltration. It's not some kind of strategy from the Politburo
So it's not a strategy, it's just a
it's the
natural
nature,
thing.
it's natural thing. That's what
Right.
they do. So,
Right.
but when enough of them have formed, when entire segments of society are Chinese, like it's happened to I believe it's the Vietnam, no, not the Vietnamese. Who is it again? It could be the Malaysians. I think it's the Malaysians. There's a large population of Chinese, and they are so large that they do have some sway in society, and that society is frightened of them because they've gotten so large. And it's natural. First of all, they were welcome. Then they work hard. Then they build up into a potent
So they
force.
haven't integrated, they've just literally come in and assimilated a section and using that as their own.
Everyone does that.
Not necessarily.
The
There's a
British
lot.
never assimilated. The people of the empire will never. They don't assimilate. They don't come initially as people who don't assimilate. The initial wave is quite happy to assimilate. But as others come, they come with their wives, for example, with their families. So they don't need to assimilate.
Okay. We are
Right?
digressing. I mean, I don't see how this has
I'm
got to
telling you
do
about
with
potency.
the
I'm telling you
core.
about potency
Okay.
and all this. And dating apps have made meeting members of the other sex incredibly easy.
But you were saying just when we did a show similar to this about not dating apps, but people meeting others generally, you were saying that the dating apps were actually skewing things
Yes,
because the women were only picking the top men, and the top men were literally like bees to honey. They could have whoever they wanted,
yes,
and the rest weren't getting any dates at all. So your
exactly.
contradicts what you're
No,
saying
I'm not.
because
No, I'm not. You can meet women, but can you actually get a leg over? No, you can't. If you're not one of that top 20%, it's incredibly hard to meet women through dating apps. But for women, it is incredibly easy. So women
but
find it
what
spectacularly easy to meet a handsome, the top guy. She will swipe right on the top guy. When the top guy is having, so let's say she's a dog, okay?
what do you mean
She
by that? Explain
very
to some
ugly,
people.
very
Okay,
ugly.
that's very that's a horrible word to use, but our audience probably understand. But go on.
Yeah, they say style, man. That's what they'll say. It's style. So she's like that, and she's swiping left, which I believe is a rejection. She's rejecting other dogs. That's the male dogs now, right? Because she's a dog, he's a dog, and she's like, I'm better than that. And she's swiping left. And then one day, the top dog, the top guy, one of these top guys, he's having a bit of a slow day. And he looks at her and goes, yeah, what the hell? So for a couple of weeks, she's this guy's girlfriend. And she thinks, hey, I always knew I was top. Look at my boyfriend. I always knew I was top, top chick.
That's a
She,
leap, by the
no,
way.
no, no. It's not. It's what actually happens.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's what actually happens, but you're making an assumption of what her thought process
Oh,
is without know that.
we know because they make a dozens of TikToks saying what has happened to all what happened to all the good guys. All men are skanks and blah blah blah. It's like, well, when you find out, well, what's your problem? Well, I used to go out with this guy, I used to go out with that guy, like basketballers, boxers, athletes, people with money, people with reputation, and then now they can't get anyone because they when you and I approach them, they look at us and they think, what? Why would I lower my standards to one of these numpties? Right? And they
You're
ask,
making out that every woman is somehow on these daft dating apps, the freebie ones, which basically make hookup culture a thing because they're not interested in the individuals, they're interested in money. And the more people they get on their platform that play this game based on solely looks and objectification, the more money they make behind the scenes. Of course, they're not interested. These apps mainly are free. If you go on an app that's free, you're not expecting to get high quality dates. You're going to get a leg over, as you've said. So there are apps out there, because you're doing them a bit of a disservice here, that all apps are under this banner of being making women feel superior and men who can't get a date inferior, and the minority who can superior because they're the top 10%. But that's only the people who are not willing to spend any money and actually get an app which is more sophisticated, that guarantees you better quality people, because they ask you questions of who you are, and even ask you to provide videos of who you like and what you like, so that they can match you more seriously to the people who will be your eventual partner. And also they limit the number of people you can see, because some of these free apps, that's a big challenge. If you can literally flick between however many profiles in a day, Of course, you're going to try and raise the bar and go for the prettiest looking female, or for a woman, the handsomest man. It's natural because you've got so many profiles to choose from. So it's a dog eat dog scenario. Whereas if you're investing money and paying for a higher quality app, then you'll get a better service because they are more interested in you, so you succeed, as opposed to just trying to get you on their platform to make money from views or ads or whatever it is they use.
Unfortunately, I'm wearing a blue shirt. I should have been wearing a red shirt. I didn't think about it. Maybe we should pause the video and change it to a red shirt, because I'm red pilled and you're blue pilled. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I know nothing.
No, in this particular instance, you fantastically know nothing.
Okay.
I have watched videos. There are videos on YouTube of someone standing behind a woman and she doesn't know he's there. And she's on her phone and she's just going left, 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 pause, left, 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 pause, left, 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 left. And the women who are doing these are the ones that I categorize as dogs. They're going left. They're hardly stopping. It is a visual for half a second, if that. It's just instant.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
those apps are designed like that.
And then you've got the men who swipe right on everyone. Because when they first went into dating apps, they thought like you did. They were blue pilled. You know what? I'm going to select her. I don't really like it. And then nothing. And then they pay because it's monetized. You can monetize to pay for premium features and whatnot. They pay for that and they still get nothing.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, because that's the experience that men have.
That's the bottom end rung of the ladder, I'm afraid. Those apps.
That's 80% of the men.
Yeah, no,
80% of the men.
Problem. They're on the wrong platform.
There are all sorts of platforms. And the one I heard about is new one.
Let me explain.
I know.
There are several tiers of platform. Now, the ones at the top end, you're paying several £100 a month. They're giving you, it's almost a concierge. Yeah, it's a concierge service almost, where you are literally paying money because they are going to arrange you to meet people physically up front. But you can't. So for instance, you pay money, you get to see only a certain key select profiles. You have to put a video up of yourself. You put another video up and you look at it. Now, if you reject somebody, you think, actually, no, I don't like them, you can't see someone else for a set period of time. This is in order for you to digest and really think about the choices that you're making. Whereas on these lower paid apps or free apps, as you've just alluded to, they can do that. They can go swipe, 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 because there's no limits. These are the cheap end of the market. These are created to erode social skills, basically. Where's the social skills in that? You're just flicking someone because of what they sort of look like in one picture. I mean, come on. That's not how you find a relationship. It's like a free-for-all sex app. And that's exactly what they're for. They're not for serious relationships. So I think by saying that apps are destroying society, you're doing these dating apps a bit of a disservice. The cheaper end, possibly.
There is a flaw in your logic, which I'll point out to you.
Okay.
You said the more expensive apps are the ones for the more serious daters. Correct? That's what you said.
Tends to be the case, yes.
Fine. What tends to be true? Which of these statements is true? A lot of people have a lot of money, or only a few people have a lot of money? Which of those statements is true?
You have to quantify a lot of money.
Well, for being on these dating apps, if everyone can afford the more expensive dating apps, then I suppose everybody would be on the more expensive dating apps. If most people can't afford these so-called ones you allude to, which I assume are premium dating apps, I only know about, I'm not on dating apps, so I'm only taking from the videos that I'm watching. Okay. The one that I'm aware of that people say is the serious one, there are two dating apps that I'm aware of. I mean, apart from Grindr, which is
that's a gay sex
exactly. So I'm not talking about those at all. There are two that I know of One is Tinder,
That's
and the
just
other is
hookups.
Hinge.
Yeah, they're
And
hookup sites.
Hinge is meant to be the relationship one.
No, it's not.
Well, that's what I understand.
Yeah.
That the women that I'm watching who have made TikToks, they go to Hinge. They left Tinder and they went to Hinge because they thought that, hey, I've got all these questionnaires that I have to answer, and it apparently it's quite a deep dive into your personality and everything. And
But it works the same. They work the same.
$650 a year.
Yeah.
So that's quite. It's not cheap.
No.
50 quid, $50 a month, right? And it's still the same result. It's still 80% of the women going for 20% of the men.
Because they're paying money. They're expecting top dollar and top draw men. They are getting better quality.
My point is still valid. That for most men, it's a waste of time. Say dating apps are a waste of time. So most men have begun or signed out. They buy, and then by the way, when you do get a date, when you finally land a date, what these women are saying, and again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tyler talking about the American situation. I don't know much about, I don't know anything about the British situation, but the American situation, women are expecting a $300 first date.
No, they're not.
Well, that's what
those are the edge cases that make the headlines. And,
I must say that for edge cases, that there are literally thousands of TikToks, literally. So I don't know where you're getting your edge case from. This is what I was going to say. I was about to say this is what I do for a living. It's not what I do for a living. It's what I do for a hobby. I watch all these videos of all these women. There's certain channels that I follow that brings up these women who are saying the same thing.
Do you know how many women post on social media?
Of course, I don't know how many women post on social media.
As part of the population, demographic-wise.
I don't know.
It's 1 in 200 actually put stuff up online.
How do you know that?
Because the figures, it's always the same people producing most of the content. The rest put up superficial stuff occasionally. The majority of people do not share their warts and all relationships online. So you're only going to get a demographic who are keen to get publicity. So you got to be mindful of what you see online, because a lot of people, the vast majority, choose not to go on TikTok and share everything about their personal lives. They'll post on social media occasionally. You know, here's a photo of me eating my dinner. Here's me out with friends. But that's it. You don't get what some of these TikTokers or YouTubers do, where they're doing it for audience figures. So they're going to be the ones who are the edge as opposed to the majority. There are still people meeting outside of dating apps, you know. People can still have a chance encounter in a coffee shop or a place of work, or in a shop they meet somebody. People still do meet in many places, in the park, walking a dog. There are places that are physical locations to meet somebody. So the dating apps are a subsection of society. They're a purposeful subsection, but it's not the be all and end all. And clearly this is not destroying society. It's only affecting I wouldn't even say a majority. It's a smaller minority of individuals who choose to go down this route. Because if we were going to do a straw poll and ask our audience, how did you meet your partner? What app did you use? If it was an app, how many of them would use and say Tinder? How many of them would say, what was the other one? Stroke, was it? What's the other app you mentioned? The big one you just said.
Who knows? What's the
Hinge. How many people actually met on those two? And I dare say would be
but
tiny.
That's my argument, that not that many meet on not stay in relationships on those two. I've got some queries for you based on what you're saying, because you made me go and do the research, because I didn't believe a word of what you were saying. So okay. I've sent you one link already, but unfortunately the first link that I've sent comes from 2013. and it shows that 80% of women are on social media. And then I've sent you that was in
80%
2000.
of women on social
Yeah,
media.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I'm not saying they're not.
Well,
But the
so
ones
if
who
you're on
make the
social media,
regular TikToks, everyone's on. Loads of people on Facebook. Loads of people are on Twitter. But do they use it? Do they use it in anger, putting up videos? No. That's the thing. The
and I've sent you
video
a second
side.
one. I've sent you a second one.
Yeah.
You should know better than that, Tony. And I sent you the second one, which is from 2024. I believe it was August. Have you got it?
I have,
Yeah.
yes.
If you click on gender, so that it's sorted by gender,
Mm-hmm.
and if you scroll down and look for TikTok, you got 40%. 40% of women are on TikTok. So not your little tiny. You said, oh, it's only 2% or 1%. It's there, right?
On
And like
gender,
I
here we
said,
go.
I watch hundreds of these things in a month. These are different women. It's not the same woman. I mean, what are you trying to tell me? These are women who are going and sitting down and having interviews. They've been interviewed on these talk shows in America, these American talk shows, and they're complaining about how life is and why the social media is silly and this and that. This is what I'm talking. Where you come getting? I'm the one that's in this fight. And you say I'm passionate, or what was the word you used about the fight? I'm in there. I'm in the trenches, man. No, the guys.
No disrespect, you're not in the trenches because you are a middle-aged man like
Old man.
myself.
An old man.
Okay, old. We're not in that game. So how can you be in the trenches? If you were a young whippersnapper in your 20s in this game doing this, I would listen to you 100% and your experience. We are not in this game. We're talking from afar.
I'm in the fight. I'm in the fight for men on the manosphere. And I fight on social media and I make the comments and I'm out there and I'm on the platforms. I'm in the groups. I'm fighting for men.
Right.
Exactly.
Do they
So
need you to fight for them? Clearly,
because
if they're in
they're
those
weak.
apps,
They're weak because they were brought up by women. Most men, like many of my students, I'm one of the first male teachers they've had.
okay.
And they're secondary school, late secondary school, year 11, which I don't know what it is in America. I don't know what it is in America.
Age group, 15, 16 year
15, 16, 15, 16. They're about to go to,
upper school or
upper
college.
school. Yeah, I don't know that again. So anyway.
College in the States. Well, is it 18?
I thought college was uni. Anyway, I don't know.
No, a uni here, but it's not. In America, it's college, isn't it? 18. Is it not?
Yes, everywhere's 18. I don't know what those last 2 years. I think they're called. Are they called? I don't know what they're called. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. No. I'm saying that my students, my male students, so many of them went to kindergarten and had female teachers, went to primary school, female teachers, secondary school, majority female teachers, live at home with a single mom. I mean, come on. Where's the male? Where's the male?
Why is it you take pleasure in bashing women all the time?
Why am I bashing
That's
women?
That's what you're doing. It's like you're bashing women, like they're the fault of all of society.
But I've just said they're not. I literally said.
But you said that they're the ones who are causing the problem, and weak men are the ones who aren't standing up to them.
Weak men are the enablers. So I place blame where blame is due. Blame is due on the weak men for enabling the women. He shouldn't enable women, and then everything will be fine.
Shouldn't he enable women? So, in other words, take off any rights they have.
Take off their lack of accountability. Take off their lack of accountability. Make everyone accountable. You are accountable for your choices. Indeed. You decide to have children and you're not married. That's your problem. It was your body.
It's not. And I'm not.
You are saying it wasn't, because what you're saying is other people should pay for it. Our taxes are paying for that. Why? It's not our problem. It's your problem. Was your choice. You deal with it.
Okay.
But women will vote en masse to put politicians who what's the word, is it kowtow to their desire so they can get elected, and then the welfare state blossoms. It booms. Anyway, we're moving away from the dating apps thing, because here we are in the dating apps. We spoke about economic inequality and monetization. The dating app industries focus on monetization, which means that those with greater financial resources have access to premium features and can reach more people. So actually, it'd be the richer men, if you like, those able to spend more money, who can more easily reach out to women,
But
and
they're
that causes
doing
an
it
economic.
not because they just want to hook up. They're doing it because they have more to lose. They want to find somebody
No,
who's
they're doing it to
worthwhile.
get a leg
Post.
over. What are you talking about? They're doing it
So
to get a
why are the
leg
men
over.
and women paying money on some of these higher dating apps? Because they're fed up. They want to meet someone
You
who's
have to give me the name
compatible
of
with
one
them.
of your higher dating apps you're talking about. I know about Tinder. I know about
eHarmony.
Grinder. Okay, I've never heard of eHarmony.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit worried that you were able to say that so easily. Does Julie know about
No, because I've done my research.
eHarmony?
And also, some of these dating apps, they encourage people to meet up before they find somebody else. And they arrange events in the local area where
Let's
they
find out.
invite people to go
Share
along.
of eHarmony, share of dating apps customers. Let's find out what share of dating app customers says. Uh, it has millions of registered members, which is weird. If they're all getting hooked up, why haven't they just gotten married and they gotten off the app? So that's kind of weird. About 5% are on eHarmony. So if I'm saying that there is a problem with dating apps, it's not a good idea for you to come and tell me, oh, this special one, this edge case here is representative of the whole
I
thing.
never said it was
If
representative.
so,
You're
why are
having
you
a
bringing
dig
it
at
up?
all apps,
Well,
whereas
I'm having a
there's
dig at
some that
dating
have their
apps, okay?
place.
I'm having a dig at dating apps. I'm saying that the men are signing out. The people I talk to on when I say I'm in the trenches, the people, the men in social media, the ones who are saying no, we're out. We've given up on social dating apps. They can't get a date, and when they do
Because
get a
these
date,
social apps focus on
fine. So
marketization of
whatever. So for
relationships,
whatever
not to
reason,
make money, not to help people get together. It's like Facebook,
so what?
YouTube. They make money off our content.
So
We
what?
provide the content for their existence.
So what? How does that interfere with my argument whatsoever? I'm telling you what the end result is. The end result is that these men can't get dates. And you're telling me that, yeah, okay, specialized apps can get dates. No. The men who are complaining and say they go onto social media, they can't get dates. They give up. And when they get dates, the women have got unrealistic standards. The women want to have $300 first dates.
Because they're on the wrong platform. If you're going on that platform, go on there with open eyes and realize that the people on here are not the people for long-term relationships. They are a hookup date that you would get ordinarily on a night out down the pub, meeting some boozy person. Okay, get a quick leg over. That's not a relationship.
Did you not tell me that you and I are not in the trenches because you and I don't use dating apps? Didn't you say so?
I said we're not in the trenches because of this.
We don't. You and I don't use
the
dating apps. Do you use? I don't use dating apps. Do you use dating apps?
No.
So, do you think that the men who are complaining online are so dumb? Have you just said that all men are dumb and
I didn't
the
say
clever
that.
one?
You're putting words in my mouth.
That's the conclusion I have to arrive at. Are they
No.
so
Well,
stupid they can't tell the difference?
misunderstood and come
They
up to
can't.
the wrong conclusion.
They can't tell the difference between what apps they should be on if they want to get serious. It's because that's essentially what you're saying. That, oh, these men, they don't know which apps to go to because they're just trying to get a hookup. Meanwhile, these men are saying they can't get any attention from women, period. They want relationships. There's a thing called Passport Bro. You can look it up whilst I'm speaking. Passport space BRO. There's a thing called Passport Bro. These are the men that you claim don't want relationships, or don't want hookups or whatever, who are leaving the West, going to traditional countries and settling down and getting married outside of the West. And it's a thing.
Passport Bro. What is that?
Well, you can look at it. I can tell you
the Passport Bro movement.
Yes. These are the same men that you said, why are they having to leave the country if they can if they so they've got the money to move, they would have the money to go on proper dating apps here, but they're having to leave.
Are you talking about? You see, you're making it sound like this is a bigger issue than what it is. I'm still seeing edge cases here. I'm not seeing this problem in the UK. Maybe you're talking America because it's forefront of your mind because that's what you see, so you think it's a bigger problem than what it is. And this, I dare say, most countries have a problem where men go and find a partner from overseas.
How's
They
that a
may
problem?
It's not a problem, but
Oh,
they
I
have
thought
a
you said
problem
problem.
finding a partner domestically and look for somebody else. I know several friends of mine who've married Asian women because they believe they're better wives than British women.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, they can't make that generalized statement, because that's their own opinion, which I don't personally believe, but that's their opinion. They're entitled to it. And they've chosen to marry somebody from the Far East. That's their choice. We have a freedom to do that sort of thing. And these people, passport bro movement, are in the same boat. They've not had any success with the people online. Have they met people or tried to meet people locally? I don't know. Maybe they don't see enough women that are the standard that they're seeking. And they're thinking, well, actually, let me find somebody who's overseas because they're prettier, they're more stable, they're less demanding, which those questions can be made. And go from there.
I'm going to put I'm going to put this show on my MGTOW channels. You're gonna get some stick, man.
I'm gonna get stick.
You're gonna get plenty of stick. Yeah, you're just clueless, mate. Sorry, you're just clueless. You have no.
Why are you insulting me? I don't
I'm not
insult you.
sorry. No, no,
You're
no.
insulting me now.
Okay, let me take. How can I say you don't know what's going on? Should I put it like that? You have no
Okay.
idea what's going on because you don't. You're really blue pilled here. I'm sending you this. This is called Passport Bros. It's we can share. Remind you, it's not a link, but it's a name. Let me find it for you. It's a Passport Bros UK in Plainfield. Where is it in Plainfield? I don't know where Plainfield is, by the way, in England. Passport Bros. It's an actual company that helps men settle overseas. That's this is one of the better. This is one of the.
When they settle overseas, are they finding a partner to settle overseas, or
yes,
are they
that's
just
the whole point.
Oh,
No,
it's
no,
just to find a partner and settle overseas.
you find it because, as I said to you before,
Why don't they bring them over
it's
here?
not. Ah, my God! It's because it's not. It's the system. MGTOW is against the system. I've said it's not against the women. You can lose your house. And okay, so why? Okay, let me finish my train of thought. You can lose your house and your kids, and you still have to pay alimony and stuff like that. It's the system that is deranged. And you were saying, can't these men go up and meet a woman?
I'm misunderstood.
You've
I'm
been comfortably
misunderstood.
married. You've been comfortably
Right?
married for a long time.
I'm
You
thinking.
can't go up and if you go up and speak to a woman, I don't know about England, but if you go up and speak to a woman who finds your approach uncomfortable, she can level accusations of harassment against you.
Mm-hmm.
So men don't do it. They literally won't do it because it's too much palaver. She says that you're sexually harassing her. It's believe all women, even if eventually.
That's not over here, though. You're talking America.
Well,
we don't have that here. You telling me on a Saturday night when guys are out, they don't chat to girls? Of course they do. Of course they do. If they're out in clubs and pubs, of course they do. So
I don't.
that doesn't make sense.
I've always confessed. I don't know that much about the UK scene.
Okay.
I've always confessed that I don't know much about UK scene. I don't know
And I dare say that
goes
happens
on
in
here.
America. The people go out to clubs, people go out to nightclubs.
Increasingly,
they don't talk to women.
Increasingly, the men don't go to nightclubs. Nightclubs are shutting down. Increasingly, nightclubs are closing down because men aren't going to the nightclubs because they just don't. Nobody wants to palaver. These are not good people. Sorry, they're so entitled. The system is so wrap them up in themselves. Again, when they do go to clubs, when these women do go to clubs, guess who they're going with? They're going with the 20%. One of the 20%ers. And the 20%ers can afford to buy them this and to buy them that and to take them out and they can have a nice time. When they go on their own, no one's coming up to them because even if you do go up to them, she wants to drink Hennessy or champagne or something that's really expensive. And it's like, well, what's all this about? That's what I'm trying to tell you, that the dating apps have, basically, fundamentally, this is my entire argument. The dating apps have made it not possible, have enforced an 80-20 split. 80% of the women are chasing 20% of the men. Those 20%, they do it as they like. They've got all the nookie, all the sex that they want, right? But they're not settling down. Now, the 80% of the women, they're doing this in their 20s. They're having fun. Like I said, these are high profile men they're going out with. You're 20 years old and you're going out with a famous basketballer. You're going out with a famous baseballer. You're going out with a famous athlete. And you're thinking that's the life. And when he drops you, go out with one of his friends. And then, so you're in that circle and life is good. And hey, everything is fun. And then you get to be 30 years old and they don't want you anymore. And now you're saying, hey, I'm going to settle down with a nice guy. In other words, you are, what's the word I'm looking for? You're settling. Yes, you're not really, you want this guy. It's not exciting. It's not like the others. Can't fly you off to Jamaica on a weekend holiday. He can't do all that for you. So, but you said, hey, I want kids. I'm going to settle down, blah, blah, blah. But these guys ain't biting, man. Someone who has worked assiduously, who's worked really hard all his, 20s, he's gotten somewhere now. Now he has a house. Now he has a car. Now he wants to protect that investment. He's not going to hand it off to some X-Town bicycle or something. He wants somebody. There's this wonderful expression in the manosphere. A woman is always interested in a man's future. A man is always interested in a woman's past. Because a man wants someone, not something. I take that back. He wants someone who we are attracted to purity and femininity. They are attracted to masculinity, right? So that 30-year-old man is not going to look at the 30-year-old woman who's been around the tracks. He's going to want someone younger. And when she was in her 20s, she was going out with such a guy. This is how it works.
But what's this got to do with the dating apps? The
dating app,
getting close to the end of the hour.
The source of the problem of the dating apps is that for the first time in history, it has made it so easy and so obvious that 80% of the women go for 20% of the men. And women don't mind being in in a harem. They don't mind. It's not like men. Men sharing a woman is kind of disgusting. Yeah. But women sharing a guy that they think is a high, I don't want to say high value, they think is a top catch.
He's actually a 9 or a 10 out of 10.
They're fine. They can live with that. They're actually happy. Not happy, but they can do it.
They put up with it.
They put up with it. You remember that French presidents,
that they get picked.
French presidents have always had mistresses. There's been the wife, and then there's been the mistress, and everybody's known about this. It's like that's supposed to be a French accent, by the way.
I thought you're having a convulsion for a minute,
right? I was going to mention about what's this isolation. We've noticed that the reliance on dating apps or social connection has led to disconnection from local communities and a sense of belonging.
Yeah. But then that's the whole of social media, not just the dating apps. They have caused a lot of that.
They have caused a lot of it, and ultimately weakening social bonds. Double standards of sexual objectification.
Absolutely, I get that. There's an erosion of social skills. Half the people don't know how to talk.
And they can't even, and they're scared. It looks as if they're scared to talk.
They are.
They don't even want to.
Well, it's like anything. If you've not practiced it before and you've not cut your teeth talking to women at a young age in going out and all the rest of it, you're not doing it. You're just doing it online. And now, as we've already spoke about, there's some online. What's the word that they use? There's some. What did we use?
What are you talking about?
There was some
online
AI that's used to even make the
chatbot, concierge,
yes. So that even removes that element. So you can't even make the mistakes. It's doing it for you. I mean, it's nonsense.
I think she got sacked, by the way. I think she was fired. The woman who brought it in, I can't remember. Was it Bumble? It was Bumble, wasn't it?
Bumble, yeah.
I believe the CEO was a woman, and she brought this thing in, and it bombed big time for some funny reason. For some reason, the women didn't go for it, which is again is peculiar. I would have thought
did they actually see the fact that it was eroding their ability to even talk? Do you see what I mean?
I know she was fired, but she was kicked out. But I don't know
Why?
And because the chatbot thing didn't work out for them. But I don't
But
know
they
why it
invested
failed.
money in it and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't
A
know.
bit like
I'd have
Facebook and
thought,
Meta, they've invested loads, and where's that gone?
I would have thought that it would have
Metaverse.
worked. I'm really surprised it didn't. Anyway, how do you pronounce this word? Homogenization and lack of surprise.
Yeah.
Dating apps prioritize matching users based on predefined things. So there's no more surprise. And you know, a lot of people think that they know what they want.
No,
So
they don't know what they want.
you map out, this is the person I want, blah, blah, blah. And then you get and you're like, yeah, this is not actually what I want.
Well,
And I
that's
think
half the battle, though,
it's finding out, meeting people and finding out what you want. Yeah.
Because strangely, you've heard the term opposites attract.
Yeah.
That is very true. Because what you find is many relationships, there's no similarity. There are some congruency, but the majority of things are different because we are attracted to a trait we know little about. So
Or
if our
need a trait
partner,
we need to
indeed,
balance it, to make us
indeed,
balanced.
exactly. And so that is what causes attraction, strangely. So it's not things that you necessarily will articulate, oh, I want this, I want that. Yes, you can on looks, clearly, because there are some features of attractiveness based on looks. That's the first entry that we see. But all the other bits that keep you in a relationship, that make a relationship fun, intriguing, long lasting, those are to do with personality. And normally it's the opposite to you. Those are the bits that keep you interested. Now, granted, you can have situations where you're opposite and you battle, but that's nature of relationships. There's gonna be battle. You're never gonna have full harmony in any relationships because you're individual people. But those differences is what make you attracted to one another in the first place. If you date somebody that is totally in line with you, literally everything, personality and everything, you will get bored because they're too much a mirror of you. You look for the different quirks, the differences that you don't possess, and that's what creates attraction. So it's very difficult for a dating app to capture that. All they can focus on primarily is looks, because that is something that people are attracted to.
No, that is actually one of the problems. These shallow interactions
That's the
is
problem, though. By
is
just
very shallow,
focusing
just
on
on
looks,
physical appearance.
Indeed.
You've heard of, I've mentioned it before, the sixes,
Yeah.
6 foot tall, six pack abs, and 6-figure income.
Yeah.
Then again, are you aware of the mental health impacts, which is impacting a large number of men, and now recently, increasingly, a large number of women, which is frequent rejection or lack of meaningful connections, is contributing to loneliness, anxiety, and depression. And when that propagates throughout society, what do you think is happening to society?
Yeah, you get a really melancholy youth who are always depressed, don't know why, and it's basically because they don't have the connections.
Exactly. They're isolated, poor thing.
I get it. I do get it. But I'm not blaming the apps. Not
who are you blaming?
100%.
So, sorry, if you agree that...
I agree that this is happening in society, but the apps are not necessarily the full cause.
Well, they're a major part. I mean,
fueling it.
Not sexual. Yeah, no.
Oh, we need to get to the top of the hour.
Gender relationships, intergender relationships. What am I trying to say? Love, that sort of thing. Our relationships, love and all that sort of thing. That's a major part of anyone's life.
Of course it is.
All right. So if the major part of your life is unsatisfactory, and
you become unstable as an individual.
A lot of the young men are saying they're getting paid to be slaves, that they're wage slaves. Now, I don't know how I've mentioned this before, and I've really got to research it. How are they living? They're living in their mom's basement. They're playing what do you call this?
Computer games.
Video games all day. They don't go out. They don't have girlfriends. They don't do anything. I don't know how they live exactly, but some say I go out and I go out and I work just enough, and then when it's not, they just stop. So no ambition.
You see, the
Amazing.
thing is, we as human beings, we got to wrap up here, by the way.
Okay.
We have fundamental pillars in it that make us who we are. Self-esteem is very important. The physical side of life is also important. Emotional side is important. Intellectual, you could also add spiritual in that. These are pillars that keep us up as an individual.
Mm.
Now, when your emotional state isn't fulfilled, the other four keep you up, ticking along, but you're not whole. Something's missing, and that pillar hasn't been fed, so to speak. Now you could, and that's what people tend to do, they think and confuse it with sex.
Mm.
But sex is a different level. Sex is a animalistic level almost. It's important, but it's not what you need. For fulfillment, you need emotional connection. And that happens when you have love for somebody. But to generate love, it doesn't happen immediately. You need to spend time with individuals to get to know them, their nuances, the way they behave, that sort of thing. And that's what dating should really be. You get to know someone over a period of time. But because dating apps are so superficial, flick, 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 left, right, you're not giving the individual the time to express who they really are. So you get to know them and see whether there's something behind the looks element. You're just going, oh well, they don't meet my criteria. I'm not going to invest any time in getting to know them. I'll just go to the next one. So it becomes so superficial. You don't give anybody the time to show you what's behind the surface of the looks, because looks attract you to the individual. The personality is what keep you there. But if you're not giving that individual the opportunity to show you their personality, to see whether you like what you're seeing, you're now moved on to the next looks person and the next one. And that's what tends to be a pattern that's happening. And you're right. You were right. It creates shallow connections. People are not fulfilled. They're missing that emotional ingredient of their personality, and they get depressed because of it. So it
And
is a challenge.
I'm saying that happens to such a degree and extent that it is destroying our society. That's my position. By the way, are you aware of the woman who she was a feminist? Was past tense. She was a feminist. She decided to show that men have it easy in society, so she underwent a transformation. She didn't have any operations or anything. She just styled differently, presented herself as a man, and lived as a man for 3 years, going out with women, dating women, and talking to
Oh,
women.
right. Okay.
Do you know what happened to her? Are you aware of the story at all?
No, I'm not. No, it's interesting. Go on.
She offed herself.
No way.
She found out that she hated women. This is a true story. I'll be after this. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the blurb, there'll be a link to the story.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's certainly something to consider. I mean, sum up. So you do believe that dating apps are destroying society because
They
we
are
really got to
very
shape
bad
up.
for men, for most men. They are extremely bad for 80% of the men who are on them. This translates to a disillusioned, disgruntled men, many of whom have signed out. Now, they say they're going their own way, which is, I say, I'm a MGTOW, men going their own way. But there's a little bit different. It's a different kind of going their own way. It's not what we mean.
Okay.
They've signed out, and they're not going to go to war. A lot of them say they will never. They're supposed to. They can be called up because America. Once you get your license, I think you get the draft as well. You have to register for the draft
Yeah.
and things like that. And they're saying point blank they're not going. Point blank, they're not going to fight for this society. It's not worth it.
Wow. Okay. Are dating apps destroying society? Well, if you treat them as dating apps, then yes. If you treat them as having fun apps, then you go in with a different mindset, and your expectations won't be raised, because dating apps by and large will not bring happiness, will bring you despair, will bring you frustration if you go in trying to find somebody from a dating app. What's better is to actually go out and meet people in places physically. Forget the dating apps, where you can actually make connections with people, talk to people. discuss things. You will meet people in your day-to-day activities if you leave your bedroom. You will meet people, you will chat to people, you can join groups, you can join organizations, things like Toastmasters. You will meet people. That is the way to create connections. That is the way to find a soulmate, not through a dating app, unless you want to pay hundreds and hundreds of pounds per month for the really top drawer ones, which are few and far between, and most people can't actually afford. But that aside, unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.